I wasn't prepared for the place where I eat and sleep to also become the place where I work. No one sees what's happening behind the cameras. It's pure comedy gold. I love it. I love it. I love the dynamic, I gotta say. What is interesting, and this is what I'm trying to also say to a lot of people who aspire to become game designers, is that do not be afraid to reflect of the experiences that you've gone through in life, because they could have key themes that really indicate who you are as a person, and therefore can affect how your game will look, play, and feel overall. I hope.
Θα τα ζήσουμε. Δεν υπάρχει.
I hope we get να το ζήσουμε πριν να πάνε όλα καλά. Αλλά το κάνουμε πιο γρήγορα. Το έχουμε. Ναι, το έχουμε. Έχουμε κάνει καλό ζέσταμα.
Λοιπόν, Αλέξανδρε,
καλώς βρήκα για την χιλιοστή φορά.
Λοιπόν, μάλιστα.
Ξαναμπαίνουμε λίγο στη ροή. Ναι. Καλώς σας βρήκα, λοιπόν.
Αλέξανδρε, καλώς όρισες για μια φορά.
Ευχαριστώ που με έχετε.
Πηγαίνω, έρχεσαι τα τελευταία χρόνια.
Ναι.
Είναι η δεύτερη φορά που κάνουμε podcast. Πώς νιώθεις για αυτήν την μεγάλη επιστροφή στο Αλεξάνδρ?
Όπως δεν έχω ξαναπεί στο προηγούμενο version αυτού του podcast, είναι φοβερό το upgrade που βλέπω. Πραγματικά είναι καταπληκτικό. Μ' αρέσει πάρα πολύ η αισθητική, μ' αρέσει όλο το effort που έχετε βάλει για να κάνετε αυτό το πανέμορφο πραγματικά podcast room. And I'm excited για όλα τα podcast που θα κάνουμε στο μέλλον με τους καλεσμένους. Αισθάνομαι ότι είναι πολύ hospitable. Πώς το λένε αυτό. Είναι πολύ όμορφο, πραγματικά. Και είμαι excited γιατί το ωραίο της όλης υπόθεσης είναι ότι είχα να δω, ας πούμε, τον Σαβίνο, ένας από τους μαθητές μου, πάρα πολύ καιρό. Και το γεγονός ότι γύρισα στο Alexandros Mitsis για τις συζητήσεις που κάναμε και τον βλέπω μπροστά μου και είναι σαν να μην έχει περάσει ούτε μία μέρα. Είναι πολύ όμορφο. Αλλά να τον βλέπω σε position καθηγητή. Αυτό είναι το πολύ ωραίο.
Διαφορετικό.
Ήταν σαν να έχω περάσει through a time hole. It's amazing. Μάλιστα. Και γενικά, δηλαδή, το να βλέπω όλη την ομάδα και ακόμη έτσι δυνατά ζεστή μαζί κτλ. Είναι πολύ όμορφο. Και σαν έχουν όλα γίνει upgrade, αλλά σαν να μην έχει τίποτα αλλάξει με την έννοια του όλοι.
Σημαντικό αυτό, γιατί σημαίνει ότι μέναμε ήδη. Κρατήσαμε
ως ένα σημείο. Ναι.
Λοιπόν, let's meet Alexandros. Tell us about yourself, how it all started.
Yes. Oh, dear God.
Again and again.
Oh, dear God. Okay, just a disclaimer this time. We're switching to English because it's easier for me to express myself. I have to say this. So, my name is Alexandros. I turned 29 in June. I don't know if that matters, but just for context, I'm a 29-year-old game and narrative designer. I've been in the industry for 8 years. I studied game and narrative design at the University of East London in London. And then I did my internship and my at the start of my full-time career in wargaming here in Nicosia, Cyprus. We're rolling. We're good this time. Everything's good? Okay. Yes, let's go. Okay. So, and then after that, after 4.5 years in wargaming, full-time game and narrative design in various projects, various genres, various themes, various platforms, exceptional experience overall. I would say some of my best years in my life, I would say. Yeah, for sure. I decided, I wanted to take that next step. I made my own company. Where it's a contracting company for game and narrative design services here in Cyprus, and I offer my services to various companies. One was in Ireland, the other one was in England, and one was here in Cyprus, essentially.
So you travel a lot.
I wouldn't say I travel. It's the funny thing is that everything happened from Cyprus due to the fact that COVID kind of introduced that. Yeah.
It forced everyone to go remotely and
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I hated it when it first was a thing.
You were working at wargaming back then?
When it first started, yes. And I hated it because I wasn't prepared for the place where I eat and sleep to also become the place where I work. It is not a good combination. And I remember as well, back in the day, one of the people that that I still consider one of my mentors from back in 2018, I want to say 2017. He said to me, never combine where you sleep with where you work. And he used to tell me this because I wouldn't go home in a timely manner.
And also, you never finish. You never stop.
Never.
You never stop.
Never. No, I remember when I was younger.
You might have more breaks, but you never stop.
Definitely. Yeah. Mainly the breaks are coffee breaks. Yeah. You stand up to make a coffee every 5 minutes, let's say. That's your break. And then you
just work until the next morning.
Exactly. And funny enough, though, nowadays, now that I'm 29, compared to how it was when I was 21, 22, I can't do that anymore. I feel my bones have become weary and pained because I am turning old, like a 40-year-old man, I guess, or 50 or 60. I don't know.
What do you have against 40-year-old man?
I don't have no. I don't know. Honestly speaking, because I'm so clueless as to the health equals age or age equals health. Tell me. Does 40? I don't know your age, honestly, but does, let's say, 40 years of age actually make any difference in terms of physical burdening?
To be honest, no.
So I will say 60 and above, just to be sure. I have nothing against 60. Disclaimer: nothing against 60-year-old people, but regardless, it's just that you feel that your energy reserves are lower.
Of course.
Back then, I used to sleep, eat, brush my teeth at work, and everything. I wouldn't go home. And my manager at the time, he looked at me and said, "You shouldn't do this." I had to do this during COVID, no matter what, without it being my choice. And it was an absolute nightmare. Anyhow, it worked for our benefit in the respect that it trained me to work remotely. So I was able to take contracts from across Europe and help as many people as possible with different projects. It was fun. Yeah.
That's nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's remind everyone what does a game designer do?
Yes. So... And George, who doesn't understand, as we said earlier, anything that is said. Yeah, hearts, my friend.
I thought you know about sound, but I'm not sure about that anymore.
Again, the dynamic here, no one sees what's happening behind the cameras. It's pure comedy gold. I love it. I love the dynamic, I gotta say. But what a game designer does is we are architects of functionality. We focus predominantly on systems design, and I would say those who choose it level design as well. It is not so much like I said earlier. It's not something. I don't agree with my answer back in the day that I gave when we did our first podcast, which was a game designer should understand the basics of all artistic disciplines, combine them in conjunction with system design, etc., and create a full kind of picture of what a game is. No, from my experience after all these years, especially after going freelance, a game designer is predominantly the architect of functionality within the game, whether that be it from a player character perspective, a world to player perspective, or the levels themselves that are in some form or fashion a character in it of themselves. So that's what a game designer does predominantly. We are architects of functionality. That's mainly it. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Before, when our microphone was off,
yes,
we discussed about your own game. We start discussing about your own game.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. What do you?
So essentially, my own game. The game that I want to develop as soon as possible, if it gives me the chance, honestly, is something that I've been writing the story for ever since I was 14 years old. It was during the time when I was in high school. I didn't pay attention to class. I was just writing down the story, and it's gone through countless iterations to the point where what I have today doesn't look anything like what I wrote back in the day when I was 14. But there are snapshots of these things. Of course.
40-year-old, so
yeah,
it's much different, much more experience now.
Exactly.
To know what you're writing.
Exactly. And what is interesting, and this is what I'm trying to also say to a lot of people who aspire to become game designers, is that do not be afraid to reflect of the experiences that you've gone through in life, because they could have key themes that really indicate who you are as a person, and therefore can affect how your game will look, play, and feel overall. So a good example that I use, for instance, about my game is that I grew up without any siblings, and I grew up without any friends really up until high school.
Okay.
And this constant need of friendship and brotherhood and whatnot is what created the base themes of my game, which goes through these themes through the story, but it's told in a way where it's a sci-fi story about symbiosis, parasitism, and mutation of the main character. All of that combined creates the game that I want to tell my story to, but not exclusively my story, but also the story of this new world that I had written back in the day. So that is my main goal that I aspire to kind of get to. Until then, I'm still taking contracts. Currently, actually, I'm talking with previous I won't say any names or anything like that, but I'm talking with previous people that I've worked with to possibly even revisit this endeavor again. Because why not? I've grown as a game and narrative designer. I would love to help people that I used to help back in the day,
Yes.
so that I can give them what I've learned directly. Because they've all of my contracts and all the people that I've worked with have treated me very well so far, I want to say. Yeah.
Σίγουρα, ό,τι έκανες στην αρχή της καριέρας σου, σίγουρα μπορεί να το έκανες διαφορετικά τώρα.
Ναι.
Σημαίνει, όχι όλα, αλλά σίγουρα κάποια πράγματα μπορεί να τα κάνεις διαφορετικά.
Ναι.
So, it's good that you're revisiting some...
Oh,
some of
1,000%.
your old.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, what brings you back to Alexander College?
Good question. So,
Whenever I call the phone, Alexander, κύριε Άγγελε, πάντα χαρούμενος, πάντα να έρθω σας δω.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that you see this. I'm glad. Well, one, I really like the institute. Can we call it an institute? I don't know what the correct word
It's an
is.
educational institute, so.
Yes, there we go. So I really enjoy the institute in terms of the people that have built it and what it is. You and your team, George, and the other George, and now Savinos, and all that. And I just enjoy the team itself. I like collaborating with you guys. You make it very easy and pleasant to do that. So I wouldn't say so much so as I wouldn't say that it's a quote unquote return as much as it is no, it is a return, but it feels more like it was a nice pause that was taken for development. And
You were always here.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like I ever left, honestly. And I always feel like coming back, it's like it was yesterday that I was here, essentially. So, yeah, so one of the main...
Η αλήθεια πάντα ερχόσουν για ένα guest lecture, για κάτι.
True.
I mean,
Ναι.
πάντα είχαμε, κάθε χρόνο είχαμε κάτι.
Ναι. Okay. And we planned everything, I feel like, very nicely. It felt very organic. You did an excellent job, the entire team.
Thank you.
But the predominant reason why I feel like I wanted to also come back is because I felt like there was an interesting opportunity, for one, to start official podcasts regarding game design. Especially since we do have experience of our dynamic and we have taught students about game design, and it went, I gotta say, it went pretty damn well. I was very satisfied for the first try that I ever did. I feel like we have the chance and the capability to kind of expand outwards and give as much information and insight about the industry to anyone who will watch the podcasts. And I want to bring guest speakers to the podcast. I want to have conversations. I want to hear their perspective about the industry, about certain areas within the industry that they focus on, etc. And I think a lot of people might find it interesting to actually understand all the components that make up game development as a whole, so that they can make an informed decision about what game development is and whether they actually want to join it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of the reasons I want to say.
Σίγουρα. A lot of people τα έχουν μπερδεμένα στο μυαλό τους, game designer, game development, and blah, blah. Υπάρχει ένα μπέρδεμα. Πολλοί δεν το καταλαβαίνουν τη διαφορά. So, ναι, καλό είναι. Κάποια podcast τα οποία θα ξεκαθαρίσουν μαζί με το industry ή ακόμα και κάποιους, ακόμα και να μην είναι το industry. Δηλαδή ένας guest ο οποίος μπορεί να είναι εντελώς άσχετος, αλλά στη συζήτηση πάντα βγαίνει κάτι διαφορετικό, πάντα καταθετικό.
1000%. Αυτό το οποίο παρατήρησα τον τελευταίο καιρό, αν και η αλήθεια είναι ότι Δεν ξέρω κατά πόσο πρέπει να το πω αυτό ακόμα, γιατί πρέπει να φέρω παραδείγματα τα οποία θα τα μιλήσουμε σε άλλα επεισόδια του podcast. Ξανά switch στα αγγλικά. I agree with you 100% that there are a million and one topics that through conversation we're going to give a lot more insight about the industry and what it's made out of. Yeah, 100%. But at the same time, I feel that this is also a beautiful opportunity to kind of debunk some badly conceived notions about the goddamn industry. I see so many.
Όλη μέρα παίζετε παιχνίδια.
Τι να κάνουμε. Δεν μπορώ να κάνω κάτι άλλο. Καθόμαστε με ένα παιχνίδι στο χέρι. Ναι, με ένα controller. Που πλάκα πρέπει όντως. Ένα από τα πράγματα που πρέπει να φέρω είναι ένα controller. Τώρα που το σκέφτομαι. Αυτό το κόβουμε. Αυτό είναι ωραίο. Απλά να ξέρουν και το development του δωματίου τα παιδιά που το κοιτάνε. Μ' αρέσει το. Ωραία. Ουσιαστικά. Yeah, so what I'm realizing is that there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of people who are in executive positions, and we are going to go through a lot of these things through episodes moving forward. There are a lot of people who are in executive positions that, for some reason, find it very easy to give out information without actually having done any sort of thinking as to what exactly what they're saying entails. There are some messages that are being pushed via certain posts on LinkedIn, for example, about the industry, et cetera, that are very dangerous to the way that a game designer should think, or very dangerous towards an aspiring game designer, what they should expect from the industry. And what I think we should do is not only discuss these kinds of contents, et cetera. Είναι καρέκλα κι εγώ. We should not only discuss these and expand on these and inform people, but we should also debunk things that are incorrect. We should really give as clear of a message to people as possible about the industry.
Ισχύει. Υπάρχει μια παραπληροφόρηση για αυτό το τομέα.
Exactly.
Να ρωτήσω, αφού μιλήσαμε για παιχνίδια, ποιο είναι το αγαπημένο σου παιχνίδι μεγαλώνοντας?
Την προηγούμενη φορά κάνουμε την ίδια ερώτηση και I was dreading it. Αυτή τη φορά μου κάνεις την ερώτηση and I'm still dreading it. Δεν έχω απάντηση. Ακόμα. There's no way, honestly. Like, okay, I'll be honest with you. I will try to pick.
Okay.
But I will fail. But I will try to pick. There is okay.
Let's change the question. Τι ήταν αυτό που σου άρεσε στα παιχνίδια?
There, now we're talking. That's good. I like that. It was. I didn't get that with all games. I first got that, and I think maybe this is what makes it my quote-unquote favorite game of all time, predominantly because of nostalgia. I liked the insanely seamless and fast kind of sense of immersion that you get from video games, more so than movies in some sense. Sometimes you play for 15 minutes, you think you play for 15 minutes, and you look at your watch and it's been 45 minutes. It's incredible, this feeling of losing yourself in a world that has been built in a way that...
You're lost in time.
Yeah, exactly. It sucks you in. You completely lose touch with reality. And I think the first game that did that to me was Metroid Fusion. It was from the Metroid series. It was from the 2D line. It was the fourth one in the story, and it was the one that I started the series with. I just fell in love with it.
How many hours did you?
Oh God, including the ones that I've recently done. Forget about it. Nah.
Half of my life.
Truth be told, I've replayed it more than any other game ever. Predominantly because it still has the ability, after so many repetitions of the same experience, and it's a linear experience. It's not like branched, multiple choices or anything like that. But it's an experience that its colors, the feeling of mystery, the feeling of horror that introduced into the series that it didn't have before in some sense, to that extent at least. The sense of helplessness that the character has from the very beginning. All of these kind of combined in a way that with themes and a look of a sci-fi look to the game that I just fell in love with. It was during also the time, and I think this is why, It was during the time when I had fallen in love as a kid with a video clip. I've never told this to anyone, actually. This is the first time I'm ever mentioning this. I've thought about this a million times. I've never mentioned this. Let's go. New information. So I had fallen in love with Daft Punk's video clip of, which one was it? I think it was, oh God, I don't remember what it's called. It was this anime-ish looking blue. Nah. Yes. Slap it on top of the screen. Yes. That's perfect. It was this anime-ish video clip. Oh my God, I have to find this right now. Wait, pause this. I have to find this. This is crazy που δεν μπορώ να το βρω. Καλά, εντάξει. Μας δουλεύει. Κάτσε. Λοιπόν, Daft Punk. Ποιο είναι, ρε παιδιά? Daft Punk. Interstellar. Μου το βγάλει κατευθείαν. Λοιπόν.
Πρώτο στα search.
Το πρώτο. I'm not even kidding. It listens to us. This is a creepy thing. We're doomed. I remember I never watched the whole thing, but there was the Interstellar 5555, which was an anime like with blue skinned characters. I've never watched it. I only remember the video clip itself. And it was two, if I'm not mistaken, Daft Punk songs that utilized this anime-ish kind of video clip to tell the story in conjunction with the and for me, the aesthetic in Metroid Fusion matched perfectly in conjunction with me figuring out the world of anime in some sense through my cousins. And all these things, because Metroid has anime-ish art style when it comes to the official literature content that they have. It really kind of created an aesthetic that I fell in love with. Kind of a neon-ish 80s vibe in some sense. And it became the first kind of whole rabbit hole I fell into, which then allowed me to kind of start breaking down what a game is overall as an experience ever since I was 10, I want to say. I was really fascinated from the story perspective, from game mechanics perspective, until I started doing it as a job. And it caused me to kind of say, yeah, I don't play games the way I used to anymore. It's not for fun anymore.
Αλλά το πάθος που βγάζεις την ώρα που μιλάς για τα παιχνίδια, φαίνεται πόσο πολύ τα αγαπάς και πόσο καλός πρέπει να είσαι στη δουλειά σου.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know how to respond to this. Thank you.
The passion that you have.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Είπες πριν, μας ακούει. Ωραία.
Ναι.
Πάμε λίγο. Το AI. Πώς έχει αλλάξει το δικό σας τομέα?
Not in a good way, παρακαλώ. Να το κάνουμε emphasize αυτό.
Ναι.
1000%.
Sure, yeah.
Ναι, μιλάμε... Ναι.
Επειδή πλέον... Create me a game.
Ναι. I
don't like this. I want to have Freddo Espresso.
Exactly. Definitely. I would rather do that and let it do it automatically rather than actually do it myself. I'll tell you honestly. This connects directly to a question that we were asked recently during an evaluation session that we had. And one of the things that we were asked was about what is the subject that we should focus on moving forward within, let's say, the university's curriculum, right? One person said AI. The other person agreed, said, yes, AI. We need to learn how to adapt to this new wave of artificial intelligence, etc. My response, based on my experience, is responsible use of AI. Learning not only how to use AI, but understanding the ethics and the level of responsibility and the level of care we should show when utilizing this power, because that's what it is. It's a superpower at this point. It is a beautiful power, but as with anything that creates ease of use, it means that it corrupts any previous processes that were more manual, let's say. Because I don't want to say that mankind is lazy. I don't want to say that. That is something that I do not really believe in. What I want to say is that mankind tends to find ways with which to increase its efficiency, irrespective of whether it makes them look lazy.
Μπράβο.
You know.
Ναι, νομίζω είναι ακριβώς αυτό, ότι πολλές φορές κάτι που σε κάνει πιο efficient, αν το χρησιμοποιήσεις λάθος, σε κάνει lazy.
Yeah. I think that's a nice phrase. Yeah, I like that.
Νομίζω κάπως.
Look, the thing about AI in our industry is that a lot of companies right now, and this is one of the reasons why we're having such an issue within our industry. There's a lot of layoffs, for example, etc. It's more likely that people will fire you than hire you from companies. Basically, the point is that AI is being used to substitute certain roles, whether that be it art, whether that be it sound, in order to rapidly create content that is at zero cost, very quick to do, and then just to slap it into games and call it a day without thinking of the jobs that were lost from an artist standpoint, from a sound designer or a music composer standpoint. This is the problem. It's that in narrative design, which I write stories, suffers from the same area. I would say, personally, the best thing to possibly do is to utilize it in a way that allows you to do the first drafts, always knowing what it is that you're going to be putting in as the creator. So you are going to be feeding it with your own content that makes your game unique. Don't expect that the AI should be breeding the entire thing, you know?
Yeah, of course.
And find ways with which to use AI. And I have a suggestion for that for a later podcast that we're going to be doing, where it's more about utilizing AI in order to create, quote unquote, a infinite level of content without it being detrimental to the team that is building the content itself.
Εντάξει, όντως, το AI...
It is a huge discussion.
Με ρωτάνε συχνά, θα μας αντικαταστήσει? Ήδη κάποιος θα αντικαταστήσει. Ωραία, να μην κρύβομαστε πίσω από τα... Αλλά θα αντικαταστήσει και όσους δεν καταλάβουν και όσους δεν μάθουν το AI. Εγώ αυτόν το λέω, ότι πρέπει να μάθεις να δουλεύεις με το AI. Είναι όπως και ο παγιά ήταν, είναι ακόμα με τον Google, ωραία, και πρέπει να κάνεις search, βρεις κάποια πράγματα κλπ. Πλέον, σε πολλές περιπτώσεις αντικατέστησε το ChatGPT, το AI, οποιοδήποτε AI μπορεί να χρησιμοποιήσει κάποιος. Άρα, ναι, ο κόσμος πρέπει να μάθει responsibly να χρησιμοποιεί αυτόν τι να πω, τεχνολογικό γίγαντα, τέλος πάντων, που αναπτύχθηκε.
Σωστά, ναι.
Και τυχαία προχθές έκανα Netflix και έβλεπα να δω ταινίες έχει. Και έπαιζα σε μια σειρά ταινία, δεν καταλάβα, ήταν Unabandoned Smart Home, δηλαδή πάμε 30 χρόνια μετά, Unabandoned Smart Home, έρχονται καινούργια οικογένεια και μπαίνει μέσα να ζήσει, αλλά το AI θυμάται τους παλιούς. So it's a bit creepy.
Ναι.
Εντάξει, υπάρχουν και αυτά.
Ναι, δεν θα μου κάνει εντύπωση.
Υπάρχουν και αυτά.
Δεν θα μου έκανε εντύπωση. Η αλήθεια ποιο είναι τώρα, γιατί I'm reading a lot of articles lately, unnecessarily so, to the point where I'm freaking myself out. I should kind of chillax and stop doing that all the time. But predominantly with AI, especially with the new race, the technological race that has started with DeepSeek and OpenAI.
Yeah.
Another Cold War in some sense, as it was forevermore. So what I'm seeing is that people are really looking forward to actually reaching at some point ASI, artificial superintelligence. It freaks me out.
Every time we add something.
Yeah.
It was AI, now it's super AI.
Yeah. No. Suppose that, so it was like AI, AGI, if I'm not mistaken. It's artificial generative intelligence, and then it was super intelligence that they want to reach at some point, which at some point it's inevitable to reach. I have no freaking clue how it is that we are so rapidly moving to the possibility of that without having created some sense of ground rules to limit ourselves Not so much so this third party super intelligence that might come out of nowhere at some point. I don't know, because it will, for us common people, it will come out of nowhere for us.
Yeah, όπως και το AI, το
Mm.
Νοέμβριο του 22 που βγήκε το OpenAI
Mhm.
με το ChatGPT, it was out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Όλους.
pretty much. Yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
Και ήταν σε μια εβδομάδα δηλαδή πήγε τόσο μεγάλο spread.
Yeah.
Τι
No,
έγινε τώρα?
it was one of the most technological. At least, I mean, I personally haven't lived during the time of the official, American and Soviet Cold War,
Yes.
where technology was booming in the respect of automotives and house-related luxury technology to the space race and all these kinds of things. Which, for me, by the way, it is a beautiful, even though it's a dark time in some sense, it's also technologically a beautiful time to see all the things that came out of necessity of proving that you're going to be the winner of a race. It is interesting what we will do through constant competition. This AI part, though, what is interesting in this, as opposed to the Cold War kind of technological race, is that what we're racing towards is the introduction of a third, unknown, non-human party in the equation.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where it won't matter, in my opinion, the way that I'm seeing it. I might be talking, sorry to say this, but I might be talking out of my ass. I might not know what the hell it is that I'm talking about. But based on all the information that I'm gathering, this is where I'm concluding, is that the introduction of this third non-human party, ASI, kind of completely negates the reason for us to ever feel that there needs to be a winner within this technological competition. Because at the end of the day, the birth of that superintelligence is the winner. It's the winner that they exist now, and it's the winner forevermore moving forward. Because I do not believe that we can in any form or fashion compete with this massive brain.
No. Σκέφτομαι να μπορεί να διαβάσεις ένα βιβλίο μέσα σε δευτερόλεπτα.
Αυτό τα λέει όλα.
How you compete that?
It's yeah, exactly.
It's like AI. It's like a baby, okay? And you feed. Γέννησα εγώ το γιο μου για παράδειγμα. Του μαθαίνω να λέει μαμά και μπαμπά. Μαμά, μπαμπά. 6 μήνες για να μάθει μαμά, μπαμπά. Ξαφνικά ο άνθρωπος δημιουργήσει μια τεχνολογία, ένα μωρό, το οποίο του δίνει συνέχεια information και μεγαλώνει. Δηλαδή, αυτό που είπες, δεν μπορούμε να ξέρουμε πώς θα πάει, πού θα φτάσει.
Yeah, exactly. And what scares me most, and I think this is the most important part. It's not so much so. I'll be honest with you. I agree with you 100% about those who do not learn to adapt to this new age are the ones that are going to suffer the most. I agree with you on that one. It is inevitable that we have to, no matter what, at this point. It's something that is an unstoppable progression in the evolutionary cycle of mankind in some sense. Ναι. 100%.
Αναπόφευκτα όλοι. Ναι.
Exactly. The thing here is that, for me, I'm excited about AI in the sense that I would love to live in a time where we could say that robots themselves, let's say, are considered a new race that lives among us. That would be amazing. What I'm scared of is that the people that do kind of guide the evolution of AI itself will never even give us the chance for us to have some sort of co-living with this new man-made race in some sense. It will be something that I feel we won't even see the bright side of it. We will probably see something dark. That's what scares me.
Πρόσφατα ήμουν σε ένα ταξίδι στο Μαϊάμι και περπατούσαμε με τη γυναίκα μου, πήγαμε να φάμε και περπατούσαμε τη νύχτα να πάμε πίσω, να πάμε σε έναν τόπο. Και όπως περπατούσαμε βλέπω ένα ρομπότ. Ένα πράγμα που κινείται από μόνο του, να σου πω, στη μέση μου, το ύψος του, με 4 τροχούς και είχε και μια καρδούλα μπροστά που άναβε φως και προχωρούσε. Ήταν κόκκινο φανάρι στο διάβαση. Σταματημένο. Μόλις γίνεται πράσινο περπάταμε, ξεκίνησε, προχωρούσε γι' αυτό. Και λέω, τι είναι αυτό? Περνάω delivery.
Oh,
Food delivery.
no way.
Food delivery.
That's adorable. That's amazing.
Ναι. Εντάξει. Αυτό το είδα τώρα.
Ναι.
Άρα στην Αμερική.
Ναι.
Άρα υπάρχει.
Ναι. Έχει ήδη ξεκινήσει, ναι. Έχω δει.
Όπως και τα αυτοκίνητα. Όπως και τα αυτοκίνητα. Ξέρουμε ότι η Τέσλα κατάφερε και το οδηγάνε μόνα τους. Δηλαδή μπήκα πάλι όταν ήμουν στο Μαϊάμι, μπήκα σε έναν event η Τέσλα και πήγα εκεί, μπήκα σε ένα αυτοκίνητο, δεν είχε τιμόνι. Δηλαδή κάθε φορά στο αυτοκίνητο, ένας μεγάλη οθόνη χωρίς τιμόνι. Τι γίνεται εδώ?
Yeah.
Του μιλάς και σε παίρνει, μου λέει.
Ναι.
Θα το ζήσουμε γι' αυτό.
Yeah, I hope.
Θα τα ζήσουμε. Δεν υπάρχει.
I hope we get να το ζήσουμε πριν να πάνε όλα κατά για αλλού. γιατί I don't know. Δηλαδή, you see, people can be a bit crazy. Yeah. People can be crazy. You don't, and that's the thing, right? You don't have to. I try to tell people, do not start looking at everything from a macrocosmical scale. Start conspiracy theorizing about shadow governments and how they're utilizing AI or whatever. Screw that. Think of it from microcosmically. Think about how it's being used in your industry and try to understand how that reflects the bigger state of things. In our industry, a lot of people are using it in order to cut costs, be more efficient, etc., to the detriment of real human work. That is a microcosmic, in my opinion, the way that I see it is a microcosmic reflection of a bigger world that we live in. And probably it exists because there is issues in the bigger area that trickle down to the smaller ones.
Ανοίξαμε τώρα μια συζήτηση στην οποία μπορούμε να
είναι πολύ interesting αυτά τα πράγματα. Μου αρέσουν πάρα πολύ.
Είμαι σίγουρος ότι στα podcast που θα κάνεις ως το Alexander θα υπάρχει τέτοιο θέμα.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. One of the people that I'm going to bring is an art director, a very good friend of mine, who has a few things to say about AI, especially since AI was one of the art was one of the first areas that got affected by AI.
Yes.
So I think this would be a great kind of like perspective to say. Yeah.
Okay. Looking forward for your podcast.
Super excited.
Thank you again for coming.
Anytime.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Αυτά.
Thank you.
George, are we out?
Ρίξε βρυσίδι.
Out.